Earlier this week, an SMG and an LMG were added into Infinite Warfare called the Trencher and the Auger. Basically, in this video I'm going to review both of the weapons, give my opinions on them, and basically tell you whether you should use them or not. I'm also going to go through some of the variants that I have of both of the guns. So I got these variants from a splitter opening that I did on Tuesday, got uploaded on Wednesday. There's two variants of it. There's the full thing where I talk about the update in general, and then there's also the highlights. The highlights seem to have gotten the least views out of the two, so I'll try to link both of them in the description or on the screen now in the form of a card. But yeah, basically the variants of the Trencher that I have are the Infiltrator, the common one, the Air Raid Rare, and the Gamma Legendary, and the Auger variants are the Pulverizer Rare and the Bastion Legendary. So we'll go through those in this video. But basically we'll get into the descriptions of both of the guns and obviously the variants respectively as well. So the Trencher says in-game that it is a full auto ballistic firearm with modest fire rate and magazine grip provide natural stability. So basically this gun is a slower firing SMG which has a 3-shot kill range up close and is very strong competitive with all the guns in the game really. It's very strong. It's being used quite a bit at the moment, although I don't think that's because it's OP or anything. I think that's just because it's a new gun and it is one of the better SMGs in the game. I don't think it's as good as the VPR. I think the VPR is still up there. I think it does still need a nerf, so a slight nerf at that, but it is still, you know, the Trencher can definitely compete with it, and you'll see in the gameplay that it is very competitive. I might not use it as well because I haven't used it a ton. I've used it a good bit, you know, I've used it enough to get my opinion on it and all that, but I've been doing LMG and shotgun challenges at the moment, so you know. But basically the Trencher, slower firing SMG, very competitive with all the other guns in the game. One of the better SMGs in the game. It's up there with the best ones. So yeah, I think it is a very good SMG from what I've used it and from what I've seen online. It is a very good gun. I wouldn't say it's OP or anything, but it's definitely up there with the best guns in the game. So yeah, and obviously it's a World War I gun, I believe. So it's kind of, you know, preparing you for World War II. Just because it's a past weapon, really. But yeah, you can also get these guns in supply drops and tour variants. You can only get them from supply drops, as you know. You can only get the variants from supply drops. You can also do challenges to get the guns. I'm not exactly sure the challenges. I'll put them on the screen if I can find them. And yeah, that's that really. And if you've got season pass, you get them by default. But the variants of the Trencher are the Infiltrator, which is common, and this has reduced recoil. Then the Air Raid, which is the rare one, which has Talon, which kills while airborne, grants a small bonus to your payload meter. And then Creeper, which has increased movement speed while crouched, so I mean those are okay. Then the Gamma Legendary, which is probably the one everyone's going to be using, but it's got Nuclear, which 25 kills obviously earns a deatomizer strike, and Focus has reduced idle sway while ADSing. I don't have the epic one, but the epic one has a grenade launcher, so that's that really. But we'll get on to the Auger now. So the Auger is the LMG that was added into the game. Well, the official description in game is that it is a full auto ballistic minigun. Sustained fire allows for the rate of fire to climb for maximum bullets down range. Basically this gun starts off, like when you start shooting it, it'll shoot slowly, and after about 3 to 4 bullets it'll start going up to its normal fire rate. The first 4 bullets, you'll see in the gameplay, but the first 4 bullets kind of go pretty slow. If anyone is shooting you before you start shooting, you're basically going to lose the gunfight, unless you can fly about the place and outgun them or something, or outsmart them. But if they have good aim and they start shooting at the same time you start shooting, you're gonna die. But the way to use this gun, really, in my using of it, is basically, you know, my experience is that if you get into a gunfight with someone and they start like running away from you or they try to jump about the place, don't stop shooting. Just continue spraying. It might, you know, they might think, oh, this guy's bad because he just doesn't stop shooting his gun like a corner or something. But this is one of the cases where you actually have to, because if you don't, then the guy might come out back around the corner and then you'll lose the gunfight because you have a slower fire rate. But once the gun gets charged up, it shoots very fast and it's actually really good. So yeah, also forgot to say for the trencher, but the iron sights on the trencher are amazing. They're like the best iron sights in the game. Well, one of the best iron sights in the game. And the Auger has, in my opinion, it's got good iron sights. I've seen a few videos and all that where people have mixed opinions about it. So some people might think it's bad, some people might think it's good. I quite like the iron sight, but it's more of like a built-in red dot type thing. But you know, I quite like it. Some people don't like it, and that's okay. But I suppose it really comes down to preference. But yeah, it's a very good gun. I think it's pretty good. I think it does need foregrip. The trencher doesn't really need much. But the Auger needs foregrip, in my opinion, and maybe laser sight, and obviously a bit of sight on if you really want to. But the variants of the Auger are the Pulverizer, which is rare. This has Deathbringer and Stockpile, so double kills will instantly refill your magazine, which is a very good variant. This is the one I'm using in the gameplay, so it's a very good variant, and I would recommend using this over any variant that is in the game for it. But the second perk, Stockpile, like I said, with its increased ammo and it stacks with extended mags. So yeah, I think this variant is the best variant for this gun. But then we've got the Bastion, which is legendary. It's got Fortified and Lowrider, but this is a very good variant as well. If you're playing Domination or Hardpoint, I think it's very good. Basically, for Fortified, when you crouch, prone or slide, it grants you Blast Shield, which is basically like Flak Jacket from other games. You know, if you don't know what Blast Shield is. But it means that when you crouch, prone or slide, you won't be affected by grenades nearly as much, which would be very good for Domination or Hardpoint because the flags get bombarded with grenades. Then you've got Lowrider, which has reduced hipfire spread while sliding, so that's pretty good as well, you know, because you can slide and have reduced hipfire spread and not be affected by grenades, so that's pretty good. But that's really about it for my review of the weapons. Personally, I think the trencher is a very good gun, and the Auger is pretty decent as well. Some people really think it's terrible and need a buff. Don't think it really needs a buff. If anything, they should make it so that when you ADS, the barrel rotates, so that it warms up and it avoids the slow fire at the start. But I think that's really it. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you've got any feedback for me, feel free to leave it in the comment section. If you dislike the video, I strongly advise you to comment, because it annoys when people dislike the video and I don't know why. So obviously, if you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like, maybe even subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.
Good job. Report to command for debriefing.